May 2nd, 2023, the Writers Guild of America went on strike. From USA Today, we have the quote, "Writers faced an existential crisis." The strike puts a halt to all TV and movies that were involved with the Writers Guild of America. Daytime and late-night talk shows like The Kelly Clarkson Show and The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon were put on a halt. Broadcast shows like Law and Order and Abbott Elementary were too. Movies also got affected, with delayed releases. Without screenwriting, entertainment clearly couldn't maintain production. Everything went to a stop. Here's why we need screenwriters and screenwriting. According to the successful screenwriter, the list of important reasons are as follows. 1. It's the foundation of visual storytelling. 2. Character development. 3. Emotional impact. 4. Cultural influence. 5. Innovation and creativity. 6. Collaboration and teamwork. 7. Escapism and entertainment. According to the Los Angeles Film School, there's 3 parts to screenwriting. Part 1, character development. Part 2, plot structure. And 3, dialogue writing. First up, we're going to look at foundation of visual storytelling. It develops a memorable character, emotional impact, scenes, and of course, the plot. Everyone does this differently, but each style sets the whole movie. For example, Nora Ephron. She writes romantic, witty, strong female perception, emotionally resonant dialogue. Light and charming. Movies she's worked on: When Harry Met Sally, Sleepless in Seattle, and Julie and Julia. Example number 2 is Christopher Nolan. High concept and non-linear storytelling, complex layered narratives, intellectual themes, and mind-bending structures. He's worked on Inception, Memento, and The Dark Knight. Example number 3 is Greta Gerwig. Naturalistic and personal, warm, character-driven, with a mix of humor and emotional depth. Worked on Lady Bird, Little Women, Frances Ha. Next is character development. In the case of Greta Gerwig's Little Women, it's non-linear, jumping from childhood to adulthood. It shows how characters evolve over time. It defines personality through word choices. For example, Jo March is assertive, energetic, and headstrong. To quote her, "I want to be great or nothing." Meg March, romantic, pragmatic, mature. To quote her, "Just because my dreams are different from yours doesn't mean they're unimportant." Beth March. Beth doesn't change dramatically, but serves as a constant grounding presence that deeply impacts Jo's transformation. Emotional impact. Beautiful Boy used dialogue and cues to show emotional impact, as well as characters' depth into it. Parental love and helplessness. To quote David Sheff, "Do you know how much I love you? I love you more than everything. I love you more than time." This is highlighting desperation and inability to protect Nick from himself. Addiction's grip on Nick. To quote Nick, "This is me. This is who I am." Deep-rooted hold of addiction, expressed, showing how he begins to define himself by it, believing he is beyond help. Cultural influence. The movie I'm using for this example is City of God, written by Bravilo Mantoni. Portrays the harsh realities of growing up in the Vivilos, where poverty and limited opportunities push young boys into gang life. Lack of government presence and how law enforcement is not around. Depicted as everyday reality. Transition of power from older criminals to younger, to show escalating through generations. This film's cinematic realism, influenced by documentary techniques, blurs fiction and reality. Quote, "In the City of God, there were only 2 choices, run or stay and fight. I choose the camera." Plot structure. The example I'm using is Babel, written by Guillermo Arriaga. Structure. It's interwoven globe of stories connected by a single event, showing different perspectives. Why this works. Demonstrates how small actions can have large consequences, emphasizing global interconnectedness. Sense of realism and unpredictability. Described as non-linear, multi-narrative, parallel storylines, and thematic connection over direct interaction. Dialogue writing. For me, realistic dialogue is everything. In this example, I'm using Little Women. Lori. Teasing. That looks good. Amy. Scoffs, not even looking at him. It's not good. Lori. Why do you say that? Amy. Pauses, choosing her words carefully. I'm not a great painter, Lori. I can see that now. Continued. I'm not exceptional. It's smooth, perfectly paced dialogue. It immerses you in the story. Now, this one's a bit of a long category. Innovation and creativity, collaboration and teamwork, escapism and entertainment. Screenwriting thrives on originality. Creative risks can lead to groundbreaking films. Film is a team effort. A screenplay script is just the blueprint. Feedback refines the script, and rewrites happen with input from creative collaborators. Movies provide audiences with an escape from reality. A good, realistic, well-written script does this. Finally, a script must engage, surprise, and captivate audiences. Good timing, dialogue, and action cues achieve this. Conclusion. With the occurrence of the WGA protests, we saw a spike in appreciation from audience towards screenwriters. But why is what they do important? We get highly developed characters, impactfully emotional stories, realistic dialogue, cultural influence, and smooth running plots. This is all the foundation of storytelling. The script sets the brick for actors to portray emotions, have beautiful moments and gestures, and most importantly, tell the stories of some of our favorite characters. Screenwriters collaborate with directors, producers, and crew on set to develop a real possible set and ending production. Screenwriting is the foundation of media productions. This is why it's important. Okay, so now we are going to look at one of my scripts just to analyze kind of how a script can be well done. Obviously, not saying I'm a professional, I'm still learning, but this is my little snippet from Song of Achilles. You have the description going on right here of the scene. Achilles is sitting in a cot, a pile of blankets and pillows, reading. He hears commotion from outside, screaming, sobs. That describes the sound going on from the outside. Obviously, that'll be edited into the sound. Seconds later, the door of the tent was pushed open. He looks up. Light from the sun shines on his tan, scarred skin. Patroclus stands in front of the blowing tent door, out of breath, with tears running down his face. That gives directions for the actors to work with, and emotions to portray during that bit. Achilles immediately sits up, looking at Patroclus with a panicked expression. Achilles, what has happened? This gives the emotion cue in the voice tone. What has happened? Patroclus, choked. They are dying, all of them. The Trojans are in the camp. They are blurring the ships. Ajax is wounded. There is no one else but you to save them. Obviously, I'm not an actor. Actors will be able to interpret that emotional cue better than I can. But I knew what I was doing when I wrote it. Achilles stares at him for a second before carelessly standing up, throwing his book on the ground and striding over to Proclus. He stood like a statue in front of Patroclus, his face straight and motionless now. If they are dying, it is Agamemnon's fault. I told him what would happen if he took my honor. Defensive. Last night he offered. He made a noise and his throat burgeoner. He offered nothing. Some tripods, some armor, nothing to make right his insult, or to admit his wrong. I have saved him time and time again. his army, his life. Achilles balled his fist just barely. He was holding back his anger, but his tone was obviously pissed. Odius can lick his boots, and Diomedes, and all the rest, but I will not. Patroclus raised his hands, taking Achilles' hands into his own. He gripped them between their bodies, moving closer to fill the gaps between them. Stern, but caring. He is a disgrace, I know, and all the men know it too. You must forgive him. He will doom himself, but do not blame them for his faults. Do not let them die, only because of his madness. They have loved you, and honored you. Achilles pulled his hands back from Patroclus, putting them down at his side. Achilles had a blank stare in his eyes. He seemed to no longer be there. Bitter, but almost offended. Honored me? Not one of them spoke for me. They stood by and let him insult me, as if he were right. I toiled for them for 10 years, and their payment is to discard me. They have made their choice. I shed no tears for them. You could hear a loud crack. It was a mast falling. Smoke inched into the tent. Patroclus jumped and looked back, rushing to pull the tent shut. He turned back around, angry now too. He was scared. Disbelief, angry. They were foolish, yes, but they are still our people. The Myrmidons are our people. The rest can save themselves. Achilles went back to his cot, but Patroclus grabbed his arm, pulling him back closer to him again, only a few inches from each other's faces. Patroclus took his finger and jabbed it on Achilles' chest. Frustrated. You are destroying yourself. You will not be loved for this. You will be hated and cursed. Please, if you... Patroclus. I will not do this. Do not ask again. He stayed quiet, staring at Achilles, his eyebrows furrowed, almost confused but hurt. He swallowed, and tears puddled at his eyes. The tent door behind them started blowing again, more rapidly. The shouts and screams were more frequent. Achilles stared right back, not saying anything else. Patroclus suddenly drops down to his knees, looking up at Achilles with a pleading face. Tears flowed down his cheeks. He grabs Achilles' hands and puts the palms on his cheeks. Panicked, vulnerable. For me then, save them for me. I know what I am asking of you, but I ask it for me. Achilles' hands started to shake. He didn't want to. He couldn't deny Patroclus, though. Still, he stood strong, shaking his head. Anything else, anything, but not this. I cannot. If you love me. Achilles closed his eyes and removed his hands from Patroclus' cheeks, putting them back at his side in balled fists. His jaw tensed as his eyes opened once again, glaring down at Patroclus. No, I cannot. If I yield, Agamemnon can dishonor me whenever he wishes. The kings will not respect me, nor the men. Do you think I wish for them all to die? I cannot. I will not let them take this from me. Desperate. Then do something else. Send the Myrmidons at least. Patroclus grabs Achilles' hands again, almost yanking his arms. He stared up at him for a brief second, thinking. Send me in your place, put me in your armor, and I will lead the Myrmidons. They will think it's you. They both looked at each other, shocked. Achilles' mouth is upturned, and eyebrows furrowed. Part of him seems scared at Patroclus' suggestion.
Alright, thank you all for watching. This was a really interesting video to make. I obviously did not have a blueprint as to how to film this since it's the first one. I feel like it's gonna be easier going on though for other ones. Anyways, screenwriting is obviously something very important to me as I want to be a screenwriter, so I felt it was right to do this first. But anyways, make sure you like and comment and subscribe, anything you want. But in the occasion of screenwriting, what is your favorite movie that has amazing script writing. It could be dialogue, it could be actions, such and such. So yeah, just comment those below and I will make sure to read them and reply. Alright, I'll see you all in the next video.